I come here this evening because of my deep interest and affection for a land settled by the Dutch in the mid-17th century, then taken over by the British and at last independent. A land in which the native inhabitants were at first subdued, but relations with whom remain a problem to this day. A land which defined itself on a hostile frontier. A land which was once the importer of slaves and now must struggle to wipe out the last traces of that form of bondage. I refer, of course, to the United States of America.
Our vision of a society is often shaped by preconceptions formed by the media. And yet behind the headlines, there is another reality. Welcome to the new South Africa.
South Africa is truly the gateway to sub-Saharan Africa.
South Africa is going to play an increasingly important role as, if you like, the economic engine for Southern Africa in particular, and probably Africa in general.
People come, they're going to be most surprised about the people in South Africa. Yeah, it has its problems, the politics is crazy, but the people are going to surprise you.
We speak the same language. We use the same financial terminology. We use the same terms of accounting.
Now, I think the biggest thing that disappointed us was that we could go into the supermarket and buy everything we bought at home.
This country is extremely well developed. The infrastructure is very advanced. We have human resources. They may not
We have people in this country
but
who have got a lot of vitality, who've got a lot of commitment to staying.
It is one of the best opportunities on the continent in terms of the infrastructure, in terms of doing business.
Africa is that we have first-class banking systems, financial systems. The advertising industry, for instance, is very sophisticated in South Africa.
Sub-Saharan Africa has a population of some 150 to 200 million people who have to be housed and clothed and fed and entertained. Then you begin to realize what the potential really is to export from the southern tip of Africa.
There's obviously a large black population here where their standard of living is constantly increasing, and so there's going to be an increasing demand for consumer goods.
With 200 million people to house and clothe and feed and entertain.
So you basically open up roughly 7 or 8 other countries if you can solidify your base in
And
South
I think
Africa.
that we have a lot to offer in the African context, and I think increasingly our role is going to become seen and recognized as the gateway to Africa.
First of all, I think it's a tremendous opportunity. I think from an American's perspective and looking at the continent of Africa, it is one of the best opportunities on the continent in terms of the infrastructure, in terms of doing business. And in any emerging type of situation that you have here in South Africa, which is very unique, which is basically different from America, where you have that proximity of a first and third world environment so close together, and the third world basically with just an enormous amount of demands for everything. The timing is certainly right to look at laying the groundwork to start your enterprise, and I think the timing is right. And I think that through 93 and 94, the prospects are just going to get brighter and brighter. And I would encourage anyone to come. The other thing is if it's an American product that would truly have a utility value in the South African context, and there's a lot of those that are here. We probably walk down the street and we probably come up with 4 or 5 a day that we can think of. So, boy, if this was here, they would make a fortune. If this company brought their product here, they'd do very, very well.
One of the attractions of business in South Africa is that we have first-class banking systems, financial systems. The advertising industry, for instance, is very sophisticated in South Africa. So for a company, particularly in the consumer goods area where marketing is the name of the game, I think we have a superb infrastructure and a superb talent level in South Africa, which makes it very easy to run business in this country. Johnson & Johnson established itself in South Africa as long ago as 1930, making it the 3rd oldest affiliate outside the US. I think there are tremendous opportunities in the South African market for American exporters. I think because of the fact that there is a very substantial first world element to our society, that the demand for the types of products that are available in the US is phenomenal in this country.
To use South Africa as a gateway, of course, is very, very comforting and very promising for American exporters into the African subcontinent. The extent of South Africa's imports is currently in the order of almost $20 billion US. South Africa, certainly in terms of paying its bills, has a record second to none in the world. That is well known. Then, of course, South Africa has a positive trade balance. South Africa is in credit. It exports, in fact, more than it imports. What would the potential import be? How long is a piece of string? As I said before, it could potentially be probably 40-50% as large a consumer market as the United States of America is.
South Africa is giving birth to a new, more caring society. The process is sometimes a difficult one, but in scores of negotiating forums across the land, democracy wins new adherents every day as old antagonists jointly construct a vision of a prosperous and just South Africa. There are risks and obstacles, but the race for legitimacy and a better future for all South Africans is underway. The South is gateway to both the opportunities of Africa and to its endless and sometimes savage beauty. From the raw and unspoiled reaches of its game parks, offering visitors glimpses of aboriginal wilderness, to resorts like the uniquely luxurious, uniquely exotic Lost City. This is one of the world's most exhilarating holiday destinations. To the crags and heathland of what Sir Walter Raleigh called the fairest cape in all the world. This, too, is South Africa. South Africans are discovering that they are, after all, brothers under the skin, and the future beckons them all.
From being a black American coming here, I think it's a very unique time in history to come here. I've changed my feeling towards Southern Africa and South Africa in particular over the time that I've been here. When I first got to South Africa, and from what the news media in America portrays about South Africa, you come with a lot of tenseness, if you will, because you've heard so much about the apartheid, so much about the discrimination. And when we got here, we found that it wasn't like that at all, from the standpoint that people interact, people dialogue, people discuss. Obviously there's problems, but at the same time there's a level of understanding within the country, and I think there's a tolerance within the country, I think on both sides of the issues now.
In an endless world, the art of travel becomes a vital art. The dwellers of this land, this Africa, had to seek and find the best way to move from here to there. We seem to understand more about travel than anybody else, and that is why South African Airways simply had to discover a way that would be better than any other.